want you to send your comments and how do you feel, your feedback on this topic dealing with bondage and liberty and friendship. We ended up talking about keeping everything in perspective. And that's one thing you have to do, because you will have a circle of friends. And I want to really deal with this, because you have in the circle you'll have married people and single people.
Right.
And I feel that a single person should not take the lead in trying to counsel a married person. That is just crossed the line. I really don't think that they have that liberty. Yeah, you may give me your opinion.
Right.
But when you're dealing with marriage, marriage is ordained by God, and the vows are taken seriously. So I truly believe that when you're married, and if you have a circle of single friends, you just have to have a balance, because we can't do everything our single friends do. We can't stay out all night. We can't run all day, because we have a man at home. And a friend has to understand that. Also with friendships, some friendships are done immediately. It's instantaneously. You don't know who is going to be your friend, and sometimes you don't know how it happened, but if there's a chemistry, like me and Lucretia and Miss Riles, we've been together about almost 6.5, 7 months. And it was an instant chemistry. It was nothing that I didn't have to pretend to like her. I didn't have to work myself into liking her. It was just something that happened, and boom. And it was just took off. It was just that instant. It was like a collision took place. And from the collision, it just wasn't spiritual. What the Lord did with us, He knitted us, and now we have a morning show together. We're doing Fit for the Kingdom together. We spend time with each other in ministry, outside of ministry. Our friendship is just not based on
family. Family is just our husbands interact.
Yes.
It was something that it just clicked. Sometimes you will have that.
Yes.
Sometimes you won't.
Yes.
And that's okay.
That's okay. That's okay, and it happened, and it's a beautiful thing, and I love her as if she had been in my life for the last 10, 15 years.
Weird.
It is. It's the strangest thing, and we didn't know it was going to happen, but when we got together, it just took off, and it started walking, and we respect each other to the fullest. We know when to cross the line. We know when to play, when not to play. We know when our hats change. We know when the prophet is speaking versus the friend versus the sister. And we respect each other. And no, we don't cover up for each other. We don't always say what's good.
No.
You know, just the good stuff. We have to deal with it all.
Yeah.
And we have other friends that are, she has some of her friends, they're my friends, and some of my friends are now her friends. And that's the good thing about it. And there is no animosity, there is no jealousy. See, when you have a friend, none of that manipulation, jealousy, animosity, hatred, and malice should not come in.
That's right, a true friend.
Yep.
And again, you have to give that person the amount of respect to. Everybody knows it's going to be like that. This is a huge world.
Yes.
And you shouldn't put people in a box because they're your friend, or they're your wife, or your husband, or your child. You just shouldn't do that, because, again, that's a form of bondage.
Yes, it is.
And speaking of that, friends, I want to elaborate a little bit as far as single, and you're married, and you have friends. That's true. I agree 100% with you as far as seeking counsel. You're married and you're seeking counsel from outside sources who are single, who have never experienced marriage whatsoever. Now, I can see if it was a divorcee, that's something different. But a person who has never experienced being married, that's just like asking a woman about child labor who's never had a baby.
Yes.
You know, you just, you have to be wise about who you let counsel you.
Yes.
Because they really won't know. Now, they would give you what they would do from, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be a single point of view.
That's
because, again, they've never been married. They don't know about that attachment to a spouse. They don't know about that responsibility to a spouse. They don't even know about just your whole aura, your demeanor of being a spouse. They don't know. So to get counsel from a single person, that's not a good decision. And that single person who is friends with you shouldn't try to superimpose or enlarge or suggest anything. What this is my opinion, they should suggest, you know what, I'm going to let you talk to blah, 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 who's
That's
married.
right. That's right.
I'm not going to sit up here and tell you to leave your wife. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you to leave your husband. Because of what I would do, because I'm single. I really don't know. I've never been married before, so I know it's different, you know. Yes, I've been in long relationships, but again, it's different. So I'm not going to advise you to do, let me just let you speak to so-and-so.
Yes.
You know, and that's what we have to do. We have to be very mindful about what we are telling each other.
That's right.
You know, and speaking, you know, of that, we're going to talk about the separation process.
Yes, because
very touchy.
Yeah, it is touchy because sometimes in relationship, because a friendship is a relationship. It is definitely a relationship.
Yes, it is.
And it has ties. Because David and Jonathan, they had a blood covenant.
Yes, they
and until death, they were knitted together. They were so tied. And they loved each other so much. And Jonathan had to choose David over his father. You're talking about a relationship. And when it was time for them to separate, what they decided, well, we'll make a covenant that although it is my father, I will always take your side. But then there comes a time when you have to separate.
Right.
But that you have to separate, and that's still just to maintain the integrity and the respect for the individual. When a person crosses the line so that no malice comes in your heart, you have to let them know, you know, for right now, the season that I am in my life, it's time that we, you know, go out separate. I still love you, but I'm just doing something a little different. Because that actually happened with my sister. I'm telling you, when you saw Angela, you saw Yolanda. We were never separated. But the time came where I matured, and there was a different role for me to take, and when she matured, there was a different role for her to take. And we still love each other. That doesn't separate the love, and sometimes separation hurts. And a lot of people don't understand separation. They think, now you're trying to be funny, now you brought somebody else in your life, and I'm not worthy to be your friend. That's not the case. It's just that maybe we got to focus on something like I'm married. When my friend Linda got married, I was married, she was single. She was my best friend. When my friend got married, she cut me totally off. And I respect her for that. We laugh about it now, but I respect her. She told me, when I marry Frazier, you will hardly see me. She said, because where you see Frazier, that's where I'm going to be. And that's how she did it. Was I hurt? Yes, because I had given her so much of my time, which was an error. I had given her so much of my time because my husband worked so much. So we were able to be together so much. But when she got married, she said, baby, I love you, but I love him more. So what she did, she put her life in perspective. She chose the first priority, which was her husband. And was I angry? No. Hurt? Yes, a little hurt. But you know what? I got over it, and they have a beautiful relationship, and she's still my friend. And that's how you know when it is original. And that's how you also know when that's a friendship when it lasts through ups and downs, and being understanding. Because when you have, it's a journey. We're all on this journey. And sometimes, again, you pick up things, and then, again, you leave things. And people have to understand that. And I'm at a point now in my life where I am not moved by emotion. Now, I shouldn't maybe, don't get me wrong, I am a caring, loving individual. But we, again, when we get to where we're caring about other people's emotions and things, what they're doing, that's when we get in a form of bondage. Now, what we also need to understand is that a human is a flesh. And with the flesh, we have emotions. So if that individual over there is mad, or she angry because you didn't call her back, well, you know what? That's something she going to have to deal with because she chooses to be angry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to block that with the spirit of love. And I'm going to love on that individual. Until they get out of that situation that they're in. But I'm not going to allow that situation to pull me into captivity with them. I'm not going to allow that to kind of get into my space and kind of overcrowd me with my feelings, because I have to keep my emotions to a minimum. But we'll be back after these messages to discuss more about friendships and bondages. Stay tuned.